Listen, people, I'm sorry, okay? I've neglected the Fate fanbase on my channel, but to be fair with today's subject, you can't blame me for getting caught up in the Ishtar's feet memes for like 12 months. So today, I am here to talk about the best Fate spinoff, Fate Grand Order, Absolute Demonic Front, Babylonia, as suggested by one of my viewers, Hashim, in my recent community tab post. And why exactly you need to watch this awesome piece of absurdity, and I do mean it to be absurd and strangely beautiful anime from the Fate series. So let's get into this. This is the best Fate spinoff asterisk at the moment. So first off, it's important to say, this is me talking about a spinoff which does not constitute Fate Stay Night 2006, Fate Zero, Fate Unlimited Blade Works, or the Fate Heaven's Feel trilogy. If you're confused on this, I have a video talking about Fate's Watch Order, which I will leave in the description below, but to put it simply, I like to say the spinoff is anything not based off the original visual novel from 2004. Now this does include Fate Zero, but for the purpose of this video, I will consider it a part of the main three routes to make this less confusing. Absolute Demonic Front Babylonia is an anime made by Cloverworks that adapts a part of the Fate Grand Order mobile game story, Singularity 7. One of the last singularities in the story. This 22 episode series features a special episode 0, which serves to flesh out the character Mash Kairi and Fujimaru Ritsuka, our main protagonists for Grand Order. There are plenty of adaptations to watch before this that adapt many things from the film Fate Grand Order First Order, which adapts the tutorial storyline for Grand Order and general setup for it, and as well the shorter OVAs like Moonlight, Lostroom, both of which I do have videos for. Okay, so I hope that setup for Grand Order was sufficient for any new viewers wanting to know what Grand Order is. For the story, it's pretty simple though. Set in 2016, all of the different timelines called singularities are at risk of being changed. So, the last master, Ritsuka Fujimaru, and Designer Bebe, turned human servant, hybrid Mash Kairi, are tasked with getting the holy grails of each singularity to save humanity. Absolute Demonic Front Babylonia currently is the only fully adapted singularity, and its main setting is ancient Mesopotamia. With that, we will be seeing returning fan favorites like Gilgamesh as one of the protagonists, but as well other servants like the combo of Ishtar and Ereshkigal, the scantily clad Ushiwakamaru, the king of Sparta, Leonidas, and the goddess of Venus, Quetzalcoatl, to name a few. But that is one of the series' biggest strengths, is its massive cast of characters, both new, old, and in between. Not only do you have the notability of characters like Gilgamesh, but you also have newer characters that anime-only fans may not be too familiar with, like Mash Kairi, who is a very good addition to the Fate cast all around. But you also have these in-between characters who aren't new, but may share similar designs and voice talent with old fan favorites. These characters are, of course, Ishtar, Ereshkigal, and Jaguar Man that share the designs of Rin Tosaka and Fujine, respectively. These two characters are essentially the same characters we know and love, but maybe without much of the subtlety and more of certain aspects of their personality amped up to 11. As an example, Ishtar is basically the most stereotypical tsundere you can think of, which in of itself is a callback to Rin Tosaka's character in Unlimited Blade Works. But I think it's characters like Ushiwakamaru, which haven't been featured heavily previously, that added a lot to the series. Ushi is a character that on the outside, looking in, maybe looks a little bit like a generic waifu character, and really that's a failure of her character design and the Grand Order mobile game in general. Because while Ushi was certainly from a design perspective meant to appeal to, I'll say, a certain demographic, her character is one of my favorites because she's so well developed and written. In the story, she respects Fujimaru greatly and comes to a really wholesome kind of camaraderie with him, which is why when in the second half Ushi is altered and corrupted, it's so much more tragic. While her character certainly isn't special and is generally as well developed as any other character in this anime, I ended up really coming to love this character. Then you also have characters like the easily lovable Quetzalcoatl, who really fills out one of the strangest roles in the series. Her character is the goddess of Venus, but she's more like the big sister type who's also a professional wrestler on the side, and oh yeah, she does this with her face, but oh, she also does as well this, so she's terrifying but also cute. She's also one of the strongest characters I've seen in Fate as a whole, able to lift a giant axe and throw it very, 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 very far. This is one of the reasons I call this series so absurd, because not only do you have sweet characters like MASH and Fujimaru, but then you have Quetzalcoatl, whose noble phantasm is a wrestling move, is a big sister stereotype, and has an insane six-pack. Girl, you looking good. Babylonia is not grounded in any sense of the word, and I think that's to this series' advantage and what makes it so memorable. The big boss battle between Tiamat is an example of this. Never have I ever seen a boss fight in anime like this, where it not only seemingly goes on for a million episodes, in a good way, but keeps getting more and more ridiculous. Ishtar essentially fires Venus, creating a hole to the underworld to trap Tiamat. Oh, but wait, not too soon, because Ereshkigal has to literally move the underworld so that it's under Tiamat. But throughout this whole fight, Tiamat morphs and changes from a small dinky little woman with horns that, by the way, looks like one of the most metal fetishes, thanks Grand Order, into a feral demon beast made out of CGI hell. Tiamat essentially turns into a demon, and Fujimaru and Cast are the demon slayer. But despite being mortally challenged, they are able to take her out in a really satisfying and thought-provoking and a tad bit ham-fisted send-off for Tiamat, our hero's most harrowing obstacle yet. Tiamat's message of forgiveness sadly is an example of what this series is lacking. My only real complaint for this series is that we don't get the storytelling that Fate has always been known for, which is its spectacular way of dealing with characters' inner turmoil, ideals, and conflicts. Fujimaru and MASH are sadly characters that lack that, despite being really fun and likable protagonists. While we did get a hint of that with Fujimaru confronting Tiamat, as I was mentioning previously, it never felt as personal as previous Fate stories. This is one thing I wish I could have changed about the series if I was behind the pen. I would have loved to have so much more depth for every single character in this anime. Bright spots like Anna's character arc, Gorgon's introduction and use, and even Merlin, I wish still had more development or time given to them. I feel that Babylonia as a 22 episode anime was an extremely ambitious task, though it ended up paying off in the end. Babylonia's animation, art, and everything which comes with that is the biggest reason this anime is a must watch for any Fate fan or even non-fans. The reason for the lack of depth in many ways is because the series makes room for the absolute epic action sequences. The last 4 to 6 episodes of this series are actually some of the most visually pleasing and spectacular episodes of anime I've kind of ever seen. Quetzalcoatl's Tope Suicida Tapada Top Rope Elbow Randy Savage of Doom Leg Drop / DDT on Tiamat was, well, it was so freaking awesome. Then you have pretty much anything Ushiwaka does when she goes one-on-one with Gorgon in an honest-to-God top 10 anime fights moment, which I think that clip is from top 10 anime fights moments, but then you also got some great stuff with Gilgamesh's Gates of Babylon, but one of the most beautiful moments is none other than what I believe to be the first ever animated Garden of Avalon for Merlin. For some reason on the script that says Gates of Babylon, but I don't think Merlin uses that. The point is, Babylonia has killer animation, and you should at least enjoy it for that aspect alone. Though I must admit, I continue to remain impressed by how in touch this series is to its fans, and that may have to do with Nasu being the writer of this series. If you're not familiar, he is the original creator of Fate Stay Night, and he returns to write this singularity. Because of that, Babylonia really feels like the authentic Fate experience, and not some imitation cash grab, which is sadly what we all know it is anyways, but it's important to realize that despite that, as a massive Fate fanatic that has dedicated hours of my time to a 63-minute Fate route analysis deep dive, a 30-minute video on the first Heaven's Feel film, and plenty more other videos, it's obvious to me that Babylonia treats its fans well, and this leads me to the main point of the video. Babylonia is just the best Fate spinoff. It's currently my favorite spinoff in the Fate series. Recently, we've been treated to some great spin-offs like Lord El Malloy, Fate Apocrypha, and Fate Khalid's Vow in the Snow. But while I think all three of those adaptations can easily be considered the best spin-off in their own rights, I think Babylonia for me has taken the crown. Though to be honest, that could change on any given day with how good these other series are, and there's still more coming out. But the reason I came to this conclusion was viewing Babylonia from a total package perspective. Not only do we get a series written by Nasu here, but it seemingly is firing on all cylinders. Everything about this anime, from animation, art, voice acting, scoring, and even the opening and ending songs, just feel so premium, high quality, high grade blockbuster anime goodness. I felt while the story was lacking in depth, everything else easily made up for it. Even the designs of some male and female characters being obviously used as more over-sexualized designs to stimulate your wallet amongst other parts of your body that ended up harming some characters. Ushiwaka. That's something I can give a pass to because of the show's overall quality. This is the easiest Fate anime I've ever seen from the perspective of just, sitting down and watching it. No real prerequisites to enjoy this anime at all are needed. And that is why I will go on record to say this is my favorite spinoff of the Fate series so far. Only time will tell how we will see this series in the future, but I do honestly hope we see more singularities that haven't been written by Nasu or from the upcoming Camelot singularities. I want to see some of the singularities that they tease at the beginning of the series, because I gotta be real with you all. I want to see more John Dark and John Alter, because if we can get Ushiwaka Maru, we can get John. Just make it happen, please. And while you're at it, Fate Root remake and re-release the Tsukihime remake as well, please, preferably in English too. Come on, Aniplex. If you're new to the channel, I have a whole playlist of Fate videos for you to watch, from Heaven's Feel all the way to Lord El Malloy and the visual novels. Anyways, thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.